Hello listeners. Welcome to our YouTube channel Vishwakul. In today's episode we will talk on the topic, why is RBI letting India's forex reserve fall? India's forex reserves just took their sharpest weekly hit ever, dropping by $17.8 billion in just 1 week. That's like smashing a piggy bank with a wrecking ball. Over the past 7 weeks, the reserves have fallen by nearly $50 billion, a decline of almost 7%. To put this in perspective, the last time we saw a drop of this size was in late 2008, during the global financial meltdown. Even during the taper tantrum in 2013, the reserves didn't shrink this dramatically. So, what's behind this steep decline? A big part of the story is how the RBI is managing the rupee's value, and why it's not letting the currency float freely, like a boat in open waters. Let's break it down. Why are forex reserves falling? The main reason is foreign portfolio investors, FPIs. These investors, always on the hunt for the best returns, tend to shift their money based on global and local market conditions. Lately, India hasn't been their top pick. In November, FPIs sold over $4 billion worth of Indian stocks and bonds. Why? The reasons can change quickly. One day, China's new economic support measures might make it more attractive. Another day, a stronger US dollar after elections pulls money toward the US. Or it could be concerns about India's domestic growth, weak corporate earnings, or high stock valuations. The key takeaway: FPIs are driven by returns, constantly reallocating to where they see the best opportunities. Their actions often reflect global trends rather than any specific judgment on India's markets. But there's more to this story. The drop in forex reserves isn't just about FPIs pulling out. The other big player here is the RBI. How the RBI manages the rupee. When foreign money flows in or out, it changes the demand and supply for the rupee against the dollar. In a floating exchange rate system, this would cause the exchange rate to swing widely. But the RBI steps in to prevent that. Why? A volatile exchange rate creates uncertainty for businesses, investors, and ultimately for all of us. A stable rupee helps keep the economy predictable. Here's how the RBI does it. Earlier this year, when dollars were pouring into India, the rupee should have strengthened. But the RBI bought up those dollars and added them to forex reserves, preventing the rupee from appreciating too much. Now, as foreign investors are pulling out, the rupee should be dropping sharply. But the RBI is selling dollars from the reserves to keep the rupee steady. Why this matters? Even with the recent jump above 84, the rupee has depreciated by less than 1% over the past year. Over 2 years, the depreciation is under 2%. That's a big deal because, over the past 2 decades, the average 2-year depreciation of the rupee has been around 7%. The RBI's efforts to stabilize the rupee have helped shield the economy from the worst impacts of volatile foreign exchange markets. However, these interventions come at a cost: our forex reserves. And as we've seen, they're shrinking fast. The rupee has been one of the most stable currencies among emerging markets. Over the past 3 months, it has moved just 0.6% against the USD. In comparison, Russia's ruble dropped by a steep 12.4%, and even the Singapore dollar weakened by 3%. While global currencies have been swinging wildly, the rupee has held its ground. This stability is thanks to the RBI's active intervention, using its forex reserves to keep the rupee steady. How does this impact you? In the short term, the stability is a good thing. By stepping in to control the exchange rate, the RBI is preventing a domino effect of problems. Think about it: if the rupee were to drop sharply, everything we import, like oil, electronics, and food, would become much more expensive. That would drive up inflation, and we'd all feel it directly in our day-to-day expenses. By using its forex reserves to stabilize the rupee, the RBI is acting as a buffer, shielding the economy, and all of us, from these bigger shocks. It's a tough job, but for now, it seems like the right move to keep things steady and avoid unnecessary hits to our wallets. The long-term trade-offs. In the longer run, the RBI's focus on stabilizing the rupee has its own challenges. This approach is a policy choice, and like any choice, it comes with trade-offs. When the RBI buys or sells dollars to manage the rupee, it's working to keep the exchange rate stable. But this can come at a cost. It may limit the RBI's ability to carry out other important tasks, like setting interest rates or managing inflation effectively. Over time, this could hurt the broader economy if monetary policy becomes less flexible because of the focus on exchange rates. There's also the issue of disrupting capital flows. Every time the RBI steps in to influence the rupee, it affects how money moves in and out of the country. For example, when imports become cheaper, exports often get more expensive. While that might sound good for consumers in the short term, it can hurt our ability to earn as a country by making it harder for businesses to sell goods overseas. Then there's the ripple effect on liquidity. When the RBI buys dollars, it gets them from Indian banks and pays in rupees. This increases the amount of rupees in the financial system. If there's too much liquidity, it can lead to inflation. On the other hand, when the RBI sells dollars, it takes rupees out of circulation. This can tighten liquidity, making it harder for businesses to borrow and potentially slowing down economic growth. So, while stabilizing the rupee helps in the short term by controlling inflation and keeping borrowing costs steady, it can cause other problems over time. It can distort markets, reduce flexibility in policy making, and create unintended consequences for the economy. At the end of the day, it's all about trade-offs, difficult, complex decisions where every action triggers a chain of effects. The RBI's job is anything but simple, and every move it makes is just one piece of a much bigger and more intricate puzzle. That's all for today's episode. In the next episode we will discuss on certain topics which are: Bangladesh's interim government is reviewing major power deals, including Adani's 1,234.4 megawatts GOD plant, following allegations of overpricing and unpaid bills. This investigation could lead to renegotiations, financial setbacks for Adani, and strained energy ties between India and Bangladesh. Mercedes-Benz and BMW India are set to raise prices by up to 3% starting January 2025, citing higher input costs. Customers can secure current prices by booking before January or opting for flexible financing options. Government-owned ports saw a 3.2% drop in cargo volumes in October 2024, mainly due to lower shipments of crude oil and coal. In contrast, private ports, led by Adani Ports, reported a 5.7% growth, showcasing their competitive advantage. The 1.97 trillion rupees PLI scheme has driven 13 trillion rupees in production but is facing challenges in sectors like textiles and AC components. The government is pausing further expansions to address these issues and stabilize struggling industries. Thank you for watching our video. Do share this with your friends. Subscribe to our channel Vishwakul for more such interesting contents. And do hit a like button on our video.